Hello, everyone. It is Thursday evening. It is 8 p.m. Eastern. You know what time that is. It's time for your Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. And we have so much to get into this week. We're going to talk about AEW Forbidden Door going down in London this weekend. We have the ESPN WWE Peacock deal changing by the moment. I didn't think we'd be talking about this again so soon, but apparently we need to talk about it because that ESPN app launched today. And there might be reason to be very interested in it very soon, as opposed to next year. We'll talk about that. Also, NXT Heatwave going on this weekend. There's other stuff we might get into too, including some well wishes that we're going to open the show with. Stay with us, folks. Your Big Old Belt Wrestling Podcast starts right now.
Big Old Belt, Big Old Belt, Big Old Belt, Big Old Belt, Big Old Belt. All I really want is that Big Old Belt, 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 Big Old Belt. All I really need that Big Old Belt.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast, Season 5, Episode 29 tonight. I am Will in the center of your screen. To my left is Damian G down in the Lone Star State. And to my right, Silly Celis here with me tonight to talk about everything that's going on in pro wrestling. And I guess also stuff that's going on in the entertainment world when it comes to streaming. But guys, how are you all doing this week?
Doing good. There's a lot of things to get on, but doing good.
Oh, I think Damian's muted.
Yes, I was. See, I'm proceeding with way too much caution this week, so that's how I'm doing, Will.
Nice. Love
There
it.
we go. We will open with that then, because Lord knows there's times we got to talk about stuff we're not into, stuff we're not feeling in wrestling and all this, but I think this is a topic that all of us can agree on is some much needed good news. It's just some excitement, and we had it happen this past Monday on Raw. Last week, we did not touch on Naomi and the talk about an injury. And when it came up in our group chat, I specifically said, we need to talk about Naomi's injury. And I was like, might not be an injury from what I'm hearing, but there was no way I was going to speculate on anything like this. But It was what I had heard some rumblings about. And Naomi announced on Raw that she is pregnant. Her and Jimmy Uso is expecting and had to relinquish the women's championship. But we are going to have... They are dedicated to this bloodline because we are going to have the newest member of the bloodline very soon, it seems. So Naomi will not be with us for a while as champion, but as I said online this week, if her the storyline she's been in, the way she's been handling this deal, the proceed with caution deal, everything's been hitting all cylinders for her. If there was ever a reason that she would have to go away, this is the reason I want to hear it for. It's not due to an injury. It's not because of any drama. If there's a reason for her to go away, this is the reason I want it to be for. Just some exciting good news. Damian, I'll go to you first.
You know, I was praying that it was going to be a Mark Henry situation. She was going to troll everybody with her own version of the salmon jacket. But
she kind of did in a way.
I'm grateful. And I'm also grateful, happy that the way they went about it on Monday, the fact that she still stayed mostly in character, especially with Adam Pearce, but you could just tell she was breaking left and right, couldn't keep it together. Because if you watch the Stephanie McMahon interview, first off, really? Y'all make that announcement with Stephanie McMahon? Like, okay, sure. But just the joy, right? It's just nice. Just nice. You know what I mean? We see a lot of negativity in the wrestling world. We don't get a lot of positive, cool stuff to happen. And the story of her, thinking, oh man, it's almost too late for me. I lost an ovary. She's 37. I'm so glad. I just love the way that Jimmy's just so nonchalant about this and so cavalier. He's so happy. That's a good thing. I'm grateful. And as you said, well, if she was going to lose her push, this is the only acceptable way to do so.
The boss man must be watching, so I'm going to work him in right here. Jimmy is starting to catch momentum. How should they handle that? That is an interesting question, because obviously Naomi's not going to be around, but I guess there's also the kind of factor, what do we do with Jimmy here?
It's going to be interesting. I think what they'll do is this will kind of be a baby push to escalate. And once again, not anything past the mid-card. That wasn't intended. But I think that what they'll do is they'll keep him at the spotlight of having him be that solidified face on SmackDown, being that mid card. Of course, he's going to be very busy dealing with what's going on with that. It's just a fact of, just making him relevant where everybody's going to be rooting for him as an upcoming dad, knowing that a new Uso is going to be coming in and how he'll make his promos about, his wife. And it's going to relate to things that's going to bring, I guess, different type of viewership in. What made me think about what this whole aspect is going back from what Total Divas was back on VH1 and how this is continuing. And this might even spark another thing where Total Divas could come back, or maybe not that same title because we're past the Divas phase. But for Jimmy to be a part of that, well, maybe him and Trinity can have a show together on that. But I think Jim's going to be okay. I think he's still going to be very relevant. He's probably still going to be weekly on SmackDown because he can go home and do the other things for the doctor's visits and things of that nature and still travel on the main roads for the main shows, but still keep it decent where he's relevant in the scene.
Yeah. Well, how Jimmy's factored into this will be interesting. I thought it was great that the crowd clearly was all about it. There was
100%.
It totally. And as Damian was saying, I love that Naomi got to kind of have some fun with it. That they were very much like, do the announcement. You got to throw it. I'm not giving you the belt, Adam Pearce.
Yes.
I can not nursing my baby if I gotta be to get this thing back. So yeah, that it was quite the memorable moment. So nothing but good wishes and good health to the mother to be, to Jimmy Uso, to the whole family, the bloodline, all that, etc. Going to be a story to watch. But yeah.
And what I want to add to that real quick, I want to give kudos to the WWE Universe in a way, because I want to give kudos to just the reaction that Naomi has. I think if you was wondering how over she was or how over she is with this character, especially leaving and then coming back, because she even told this on Stephanie McMahon on her podcast, and how she had to reinvent herself to see what she was going to be on the main roster when she returns. And this is like the best time for Naomi to really get the affirmation of respect from the fans. Like, the work that you're doing has gone noticed. It has not gone unnoticed, where they want to make sure they give her flowers. And just the way the fans were interacting with her with every step of the promo, like you said, Damien, it was very great that she was in character, but you was also rooting for Trinity, the person. And just the affirmations that the fans got, even the way I even got chills a little bit low key when she ended her promo with proceed with caution, and how the fans knew exactly on cue how they was doing with that. I can just imagine that when she does return, she's going to get an epic over, chant or cheers about what's going on, similar to what Rhea Ripley would get because of what she has been doing as the momentum in her character. You got to love it. You got to love what she's doing. So I just want to give kudos to the fans of you just showing your ultimate respect of, wishing her to best, even a standing ovation in the crowd when she announced it, just to give the respect to her and how she's building with her character as a person.
Damn. An all-timer of a moment from Naomi. So we will keep an eye on this as the year progresses and see where this takes us. Let's switch gears now and get into what originally was going to be our main topic before we had some well wishes to the mother-to-be. This weekend, we have Forbidden Door from AEW going on over in London. So we're opening the Forbidden Door overseas, since they're not doing the show this time with All In, didn't happen over in Wembley. So this time we have Forbidden Door happening at the O2 Arena is where it's happening on August 24th. So let's take a look at this card here. Because the first thing that jumps out at me thinking about this is, compared to Forbidden Doors of years past, I'm not so sure if we're living up to the Forbidden Door premise here, but we'll talk about that. So let's start at the bottom and we'll work our way up. So first of all, we have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage reuniting for the first time in AEW versus Kip Sabian and Kill Switch. Old, what's his face? Wayne, Nick Wayne, right? Yes, is injured, so he is out of that match. Kill Switch returned last night to replace him in that tag match. We have a singles match for this is all over the place, this arm lineup. Let me jump around here. Singles match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. That is quite the interesting idea there. We have Nigel going for the IWGP title. We have the AEW TNT Championship with Kyle Fletcher versus Hiromu Takahashi. We have a 4-way for the AEW TBS Championship with Mercedes Moné versus Alex Windsor versus Persephone versus Bozilla. So we got some outside people involved in that one. Singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm versus Athena. We've been building up to that one for quite a while. Singles match for the AEW Unified Championship. Kazuchika Okada versus Swerve Strickland. A 3-way tag team elimination match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus Brodito, Brodito, I guess it would be. Like Bandito. Brody, I don't know. Either way, Brody King and Bandito is the team. You know
Brodito sounds better. Yeah,
Brodito sounds better. That rolls off the tongue better. There we go. Versus FTR, rounding out the threesome there. And our big 2 main events. Singles match for the AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And a lights out steel cage match that I'm guessing will close the show with Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay versus the Death Riders, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd. So kind of a 5-10-person free-for-all there to kind of wrap things up. There was a lot going on here. That's 9 matches right now, and we know how they like to add stuff. There'll probably be a couple more, but right off the bat, I'm kind of like, damn, that's a lot. It's kind of my initial reaction. Damian, what's jumping out at you here?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing. And that hurts me to say when we have women's matches that should be on paper intriguing, but because of the pay-per-view as a whole, nothing. And to your earlier question and point, Will, about Forbidden Door isn't really forbidden anymore. It's just a name now. It's just a generic pay-per-view. It's their equivalent of Worlds Collide. Fine, but it doesn't have the same oomph or ooh as it did when it was first the inception of it when it first happened. But if I had to care about something, could this possibly be the end of the Death Riders? Please,
God,
I'm begging you.
Could we hope?
Old Yeller it. I don't care. Just like you asked me before the show. Am I like a staunch AEW fan? No, I'm not. But at the same token, the fact that I'm not even interested in it says a lot about their product more so than me just not being interested.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now here's I think something that kind of jumps out at me. The original deal with the show was always, AEW and New Japan.
Yeah.
And Lord knows New Japan in 2025 is not the New Japan it was back when this was first started. And I think that's part of the problem. That just New Japan does not have that sizzle anymore. It just does not have any real spark to it like it used to. And there's people like Okada's on the show, but Okada's an AEW guy now. And then you have I don't know. It's just that extra. We're working some CMLL people in, and they're working some ladies in too. So we have some Stardom and some CMLL representation. But the outside factor that was supposed to be a big deal for Forbidden Door, it's just not there. Or at least what is there of it, it just doesn't have that extra spice that it used to. That's what's jumping out at me here. I don't know, Sellers, is there anything on this lineup where you're like, okay, that might be, I have to check that out maybe. At least a match or two or something.
I will say it is one match that is intriguing me, and that's Toni Storm versus Athena, because I just like those two wrestlers together. But just like Damian said, I'm not excited about anything with this show. I think what's been watered down is what used to be, and I would say the main event version of having AEW main rosters versus New Japan main roster. But it seemed like everybody knew New Japan that left ended up in AEW. Like you think about somebody like Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight was, I remember when he was a young lion in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but now he is, just on the main roster now. So like some of the up and coming stars that you would look at on New Japan, or some of the main players that you would see on New Japan, you see them on AEW every week or continuously when you watch it. So it's nothing very surprising where it seems like it's forbidden, where, this is not supposed to happen. It's like, we're used to it now. And then I know we'll talk about this later, what WWE is doing just on their different, aspects of network and what they're doing with NXT and TNA. It's like they've been killing on that side where it's like, this means nothing anymore. But just from a wrestling standpoint, when you just look at this whole show, I think the biggest thing is because it's going to be at the O2, in London. Just the crowd reactions, we're going to be there because it's a wrestling event and London has great fans. But as far as a build up for the show, don't have anything for it. It might have some insane spots for the matches or things of that nature, but it's just nothing that is there where it just says, let me go buy this. Or even if I had it free, I just don't want to look at it. It's like on a Sunday where it's like, do I want to spend 5-6 hours, looking at this? I'd rather do something else. It's not on the top of my list to do for the weekend.
Yeah. The thing is, look at it for me. I'm like, the women's matches are definitely interesting. But the thing there is like, okay, like you said, Toni Storm and Athena. Awesome. That could be on any AEW show.
Yep.
There's nothing extra about that run to make that a Forbidden Door match.
Correct.
A 4-way with Mercedes, Alex Winter, Persephone, Bazilla. Okay, that's okay. There's something there. But at the same time, we see all this so much nowadays that it doesn't feel like, oh my God, this is like, I never thought I'd see this. Now it's like, no, this stuff happens all the time. Let me work something in here from the boss man. This kind of plays into the whole what we're talking about here. Question to the team: what's a dream match by definition, and how does one create one today? Now, Lord knows we used to have this idea of, oh my God, New Japan versus this or another company versus this, but we get that so much now. Like you said, whether it's TNA and NXT or AEW and New Japan or AEW and CMLL. Or now AAA and WWE, it's like the streams are crossed very frequently now. So that always used to be the easy one. It's like, oh, company versus company or something like that. But we don't have that these days. But I don't know. Damien, you got any ideas here?
So what makes it a dream match is if both companies just have a one-off agreement saying, hey, we're going to do this one time. We're not going to make this a continual thing. I think that's the start of it. It's like interleague play, right? When that was first instituted, it was the rage. We all loved it. Woo! And now we get it every year. So it's kind of lost its luster. Or in when it comes to the NBA, East and West only plays each other maybe 2 times a year, one and one, right? But with this, as I said earlier, with Forbidden Door, it's no longer forbidden. The door is wide open. Anybody can come and go. And as you said, Will, a good chunk of the Forbidden Door people are AEW talent now when they started off as New Japan. Bullet Club 2016 isn't walking through that door. So in terms of just how do we create one, you have to make a one-off. You can't make this a continuous thing. It can't be a continuous pay-per-view. That's one. A dream match is something where, let's say Vince was still in charge, right? He never let his talent go to any other shows aside from ECW. But let's just say one day he woke up on a Tuesday and say, hey, we're going to go, me and Billionaire Ted came together. We're going to do this. So if you had homegrown Sting when he first turned to the Crow against Undertaker circa Ministry of Darkness, that would have been something that we would have clamored for way back in 1996, 97 or so around that time. I think that's the main thing, is that now it's become so commonplace. There's no more anything to commemorate or celebrate because the doors are all wide open anywhere, any promotion.
Yeah,
get in there.
Damien, you took because I was thinking the exact same thing when you said interleague play. I said I was going to go. We talked about this before the show. I was going to go my inner crab who loves baseball. And back when interleague play, because you literally had 2 different types of baseball, right? You had the AL that had the designated hitter. You had the NL where the pitchers hit, and you had a situation where if the Yankees played the Mets, right? That's not something that happens every single year. So when that happens, you better make sure you watch, because you may not see it for another 2 to 3 years unless it's in the World Series. And the way that you have to change your entire game to make, if the Mets were hosting versus the Yankees were hosting, it's 2 different type of baseball games that you had to see. That one makes it a dream match. It's something where you have 2 different people or 2 different things that come together that you don't think would ever happen, but the way they kind of mesh it as a one-off makes it seem like this is something that, if it does happen, needs to be special. The one match, the first that comes to my mind is The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. When they wrestled at WrestleMania, it was like that was a perfect thing of a dream match. You had The Rock, who was Mr. WWF/WWE. Then you had Hogan at that time with the NWO gimmick that he was doing at that time, the WCW. And it was like two different parallels that came right together at the perfect time that you say, this may only happen one time, but we're going to make sure this is special. You don't get those feelings anymore because everybody's cross-pollinating everything else. So you're just like, oh, do you think about this can happen? Let's just book it in a way to make it happen. But you got to make these moments special. You got to make these things happen. Even think about boxing. The first time we had the Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, you thought that would never happen because it came to two different weight class, two different styles, and it really took a long time for them to get there. But you think about, man, what if this would have happened like 5 years ago? Would this been a different? It's just those special, unique elements that come together at the right time where you think it would never happen. But now it seems like anything can happen now based on how things jump around and move.
All right. Boss Man followed it up with starting to think it's less about the opponents and more about the gimmick of the match that makes it a dream match. I'm not thinking it's that because, again, I think the key thing that both of you are nailing is it's got to be about scarcity, and it's got to be about it being a rare thing because we see all the darn gimmick matches there are nowadays. We see all the matches all the time. You see these people against each other all the time. People are coming and going, and they're cross-pollinating. You got to have something with some scarcity, something that's rare, someone showing up from somewhere that hasn't been there in a long time. Like Cody had been in WWE, he left, he was gone for years, he did the indies, he started AEW. When Cody came back, that was a big deal. That was a dream match scenario because he'd been gone. And he came back completely different than how he left, in a completely different persona, new coat of paint, if you want to call it that or whatever. It's stuff like that, I think. That's, I think, the only thing that's left is like if people go away for a while and come back in a different, with a makeover or something different about them, because the same old people wrestling each other is I don't know. It's just not. It's got to be something fresh to it. You don't have a great dream every single night you go to bed. And if you did, if you did, it'd be okay. It'd be no big deal. That's the thing. For it to be a dream match, it's got to be a rare thing, I think is where I'm like.
Well, let me ask this question for you. I'm gonna throw one wrestler out there, and I'm gonna put you on the spot. And Damien, you could do this. I want Will to go first, just based off what you said. I'm gonna give you one wrestler who I think is probably, and I heard somebody say this because if I tell you who said it, it'll give it away. But they said this wrestler, when we think about 5 or 10 years from now, maybe when he's done wrestling, we're gonna think back. He's like, he's going to be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers right now based on what he's doing, and that's Seth Rollins. Right. If you think of Seth Rollins, who would be a dream match per our definition that we're trying to create right now in anybody in any wrestling promotion? Who would it be?
Ooh. See, now my mind's immediately thinking outside WWE because he's been there forever and wrestled most everybody there. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, let's get away from WWE. Think outside the box here. I kind of landed on Hangman Page.
Okay.
Where I'm my head's immediately going with just the idea that those two are kind of similar in style. I could see them meshing really well. I don't know. That's the first thing that popped into my head. Damien, what do you got?
As you were talking, I was churning my brain too, and I'm thinking, who's so random that I don't think we've even seen it on the indies?
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. Just for the contrast of styles. Because that's something, Celis, and I'll let you finish your point. But
Go ahead.
It really, when we started talking about dream matches, I kept thinking, most of the people now have wrestled each other on the indies, regardless on what promotion they're in. So is it still a dream match if they wrestled at Wrestle Circus circa 2016?
Right, yeah.
We've seen the dream. It happened. It exists.
Ring of Honor back in like 2012 or something. It's like, yeah.
Right. So how much of that first, and also the internet age, where we can see all these wrestlers at a drop of a hat.
That's true.
If you remember, and well, you would know this as a WCW guy, when New Japan and WCW had like that Battle Bowl or whatever it was, once every 3 or 4 years,
right?
That was the only time America got to see Liger,
Right.
sometimes Muda.
Right.
So it made it must-see pay-per-view because we didn't think
it was something different.
Yep.
Correct. So I think the internet, the fact that we can see any promotion at any given time, also takes a little shine off.
So what if I told you right now his dream match for me will be Jon Moxley? Not
But
Dean
they've done this
Ambrose
already.
but it's Jon Moxley. But do you think
Right,
Jon
not
Moxley?
Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, it's not Dean Ambrose. It's Jon Moxley.
Right. I can see that.
Arguably, you could say Jon Moxley has changed who he is, his character, or has evolved. Even his physical look right now than what he was in Dean Ambrose and what he was in the Indies to where Seth Rollins is right now. Those are probably the two fully polished that haven't touched in a while that you haven't seen. That if you put their styles in the ring now, what type of match would that be? Would it go a little bit rugged or street or bloody that Dean could go? Or would it be more technical that you see that Seth does in his ring where those two styles could kind of mesh now? But that's something you won't ever see because I don't think they'll ever touch like that again at the apex of their careers over there right now. Maybe in 5 years when they're doing some type of like retirement match or something like that, maybe. But I think right now that would be a dream match for me. And maybe that does touch on what, Bossman says about the gimmick, but you're talking about just the evolution of who is the best at their craft right now in a rare moment.
But then what would the gimmick have to be for us to say, oh yeah, I need to go see that? Exploding barbed wire? Like, is that what we're gonna have?
Good
Actual
question.
Exploding barbed wire?
Maybe, and this is just the first thing that popped in my head. Loser quits wrestling regardless of promotion.
Oh, like career versus career.
Yeah, career versus career.
Regardless of promotion.
Yeah. You can't wrestle ever again.
Anywhere.
That is an interesting one, since the whole idea like that, specifically Jon Moxley.
Yes.
Loser gets arrested.
Right. Loser goes home to be a family man.
Right.
Oh, nice little Guile reference. Go ahead, Cody.
There you go. All right. Well, I mean, Forbidden Door, not quite so forbidden, but it is what it is. So we'll talk next week about what happened on it and what's going down and where they're headed.
I will say, the fact that it's in London is helping the card. Because if it was here, I don't think anybody would care as much as we care because it's overseas.
Correct.
Yeah, that definitely adds a little something extra to it. Yeah, that definitely adds a little something extra to it. That's going on over there, though, too. So, interesting show this weekend. We'll talk about it next week, see what happens with all that. So, all right, let's go to our halftime break. And when we come back, we will talk about WWE, ESPN, Peacock, and how things are changing by the moment with these deals. And we also got to talk about NXT Heatwave going down this weekend. We got more wrestling this weekend. Who knows what else, folks? So stay with us, your Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. We'll be back right after this.
Looking to get your brand in front of people who eat, sleep, and breathe entertainment? Big Gold Belt Media is the place to be. We're all about reporting on movies, TV shows, conventions, and everything in between. And we want your brand to be a part of the action. Partnering with us means your sponsorships get featured right in the midst of our content. Plus, we're going to hype you up on all of our social media, connecting you with an audience that loves discovering new things from trusted voices in entertainment. We're easy to find. Just look for us on Big Gold Belt on all your social media platforms. Don't wait, reach out today, and let's start building something amazing together. Your spotlight is waiting here at Big Gold Belt Media, biggoldbelt.com.
Welcome back, folks, to your Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. Each and every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're here talking the week in wrestling. So we got stuff to talk about. We ran down what's going on with Forbidden Door from AEW this weekend, and now we're going to switch gears and get to a topic I didn't think we'd be revisiting this soon, because I think it was all like 2 weeks ago that we first covered the WWE ESPN partnership and how it was coming, and their ESPN is going to be getting all the pay-per-views on their new app that coincidentally launches today. It's now live, so I have not heard anything specifically about it yet, but it's real. It's out there as of today. And the big news that changed things this week, we talked last week about WWE and them counter programming AEW, the latest in that, and how there was talking, that they were going to go and counter program AEW's All Out show in September. Well, it's real now. It's definitely real. The rumors were something last week, but now it is happening. It's definitely going down. So, September 20th will be AEW All Out. It will be going up against WWE WrestlePalooza. Yes, bringing the name back from ECW. That will be emanating from Indianapolis. But the surprise now is that this will be the first show broadcast on the new ESPN app.
Yep.
Originally, the talk had been that this is probably going to be waiting until next year. Everyone kind of figured, WrestleMania, they'll probably debut it. That'll make perfect sense. Well, no. Next weekend's Clash in Paris, that will be the last show on Peacock in the U.S. WrestlePalooza in September will be the first show of the ESPN partnership. And going forward, WWE PLEs will be on ESPN. That is where we are going from here. So, lots of moving parts to this. Celis, I'm going to go to you first. Have you heard anything about the app today? Since the app launched today. Well, okay.
And I actually went on it.
Okay, good.
So I'll break it down a little bit. So it's still, if you had, let's say on your Apple TV, Roku devices or anything of that nature, and you had that old E for the ESPN app, it's still the same app, but it has been updated. And now it's been updated to ESPN Unlimited. The interface has changed a little bit, has gone darker, and it kind of reminds you of what, in a way, Hulu is or Disney Plus, but it's now phrased in different ways of how you watch ESPN. First, you have like the live, what's going on live right now. They do have something that's similar to YouTube TV, where you can get up to a multi-view, up to 4 things you can watch at the same time.
Okay.
When I turned it on, only golf was on, so it was funny to see 4 different angles of the same golf event that was going on right now. But it shows what they're trying to plug in properly in the future, where if you want to watch something that's college football, have 4 games going at the same time, or maybe you have 2 college football games, 1 NFL game, and a college basketball game. When it comes to that point, they have the aspects of the multi-view. For what I saw, now here's something that was very interesting to me. Now, Hulu is said to be going away with their app. Now, I'm not sure what's going to be with Hulu Live TV, because Hulu Live TV is still prevalent right now. Mm-hmm. But of course, if you purchase ESPN, you can go with the Disney Plus and Hulu, with or without ads at a different tier price, which will be all together. And I know that's going to be all going to the Disney app very soon. But when you look at what's on that ESPN interface, you just see the live, the content that you can watch of old shows, of things of that nature, and go from there. The thing that is going to be interesting is how they add more pieces to this app. The WWE part is not there yet. The NFL parts are not there because that deal is still not finalized in regards to the NFL being implemented. But of course, it's going to be like Red Zone or things of that nature that's going to be implemented on that app. So right now it's very bare bones, but you can see how it could be room to grow within it. I think the interesting thing that you're going to see is with the mergers that are coming up, ESPN and Fox having their mergers, because Fox released their app today. I think Fox is $20 while ESPN is $30. Now, how would that merger look? I'm not sure. If you have Verizon, because Verizon sometimes deal with those $10 plus packs that they do, where you can get ESPN Disney, ESPN Plus Disney, and Hulu all for $10 extra. That does not convert to this ESPN app. But if you have Hulu Live, like I do right now, you get the ESPN app for free. So you don't have to pay $29.99 extra because it's already authenticated with it.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to see how long that's going to last, because if Hulu Live is going to go away, because apparently Hulu merged with Fubo, how's that going to take place? And then how does Fubo then put their live integration into this app? I'm not sure how that authentication goes too. So it's still very early to see how things will be implemented. And of course, if you just want ESPN Plus alone, you can still get ESPN Plus for like $11.99. But it's just going to be very interesting to see how they build onto this app, how these deals get finalized. And then for things like the NFL, which they have their NFL Plus content on the NFL app, will that still be active? I just mentioned about Hulu. So it's just going to be interesting to see. And then as you get to the pay-per-views, Is it or premium live events? Is it going to be similar to what Peacock did and say, let's put this WWE slot right here where you can see all the content or live premium live events there?
Yeah. Before I go to Damien, let's kind of break that down, because there's like part of this deal, from what I'm hearing, is depending on who your provider is. They've made deals with some providers where you can authenticate and not have to pay again, and you'll get the app included, depending on who they are. But it's not across the board yet. I heard if you're an Xfinity area like I'm in, then you're out of luck right now. But
YouTube TV out too.
Yeah, YouTube TV out too. So there's only certain ones right now specifically that will get you the authentication to get around paying that extra $30. Deals for that, I hear, are in the works. And I would imagine as we get closer to football season, I would imagine ESPN's got to be trying to get these deals done, because you also got, for what I was hearing described, is they don't want people dropping, their cable or their other streaming service in favor of giving them the $30, because then they're like pillaging their own like partnership deals where they're available in these other places. So it makes sense to be like, okay, if you already got something here, we'll give it to you. It's all good. We're still getting your money either darn way. So I get that whole idea of it. It just feels like there's a lot of pieces that still got to fall into place to get that done. That's why originally I was like, oh, they got to next spring. There's time to work this out. Now it's like, oh no, in a month, if you're in the US, WWE PLEs are going to be on ESPN, and that's all there is to it. And it's definitely a surprise to a lot of people that it's happening this quickly. So to quickly touch on the Peacock aspect of it. So the rumor is that the Peacock deal ended early just because it was contracted for so many shows. So when they made the deal for 5 years, it wasn't just 5 years. It was 5 years with the idea of, oh, there's so many shows in 5 years. Well, since then, we've had 2 nights of WrestleManias. We've had 2 nights of SummerSlams. We had an Evolution show that was thrown in out of nowhere. They've added these extra shows in, and it got to the quota already. So some lawyer figured out, you know what? We've already met this contract. We ain't got to wait till next spring, which I'm sure ESPN was happy about. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN threw some extra money to kind of be like, look, get the hell on over here. We want all the subscriptions we can get to get this thing off the ground. But that's how it's already happening so fast. But yeah, it's up. Now, here's one more thing before I go, Damien. So the other piece of this deal, Peacock isn't out of the WWE game just yet.
Nope.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, they announced yesterday, Peacock is going to be the exclusive home of Saturday night's main event going forward.
Yep.
Now, here's the key on that. Here's what I said. Peacock will be the exclusive home of Saturday night's main event, meaning they will not air on NBC anymore. So the next show, which will be John Cena's retirement in December, which we talked about last week now, will be a Peacock exclusive. And for the moment, Peacock still has the NXT shows and has the archives.
Yes.
All that up at the end of the year. So who knows if they'll keep that. There's already rumors that ESPN might get the archives too, which if that happens then Celis, like you were saying, I bet we get the WWE icon somewhere on the app where you'll have like the WWE section if they inherit the archives. I don't know. I have a lot of people telling me like stuff's in too many damn places and it's too damn complicated. And I keep looking at the rest of the world. I'm like, the rest of the world got the cherry deal of everything's on Netflix. 3 letters, folks. VPN. VPN.
Yes, sir.
Netflix is your one-stop shop for WWE. Damien, is it too complicated?
It is.
I think it is.
It is. And this goes back to the conversation we all had about, I think Crab had brought it up about, weren't we supposed to cut the cord?
Yes.
Right,
So now we're being inundated with all these apps, all these streaming apps. Now you have to subscribe here, pay for this, pay for that. We're just cordless, but we're still paying for what we paid for.
The cord is back.
The cord is back. It's just invisible. And I was curious while you were talking, Will, that I wonder after all this, will Peacock's enrollments, how much of a hit it will take after they no longer have PLEs or the archives.
Yeah.
Like I'm wondering how much of their enrollments and how much of their subscriptions are because of WWE. And what will they, you can only watch Suits so many times. Right. So are they going to take a major hit? Or are they going to go the way of Hulu, where all they got is live TV?
And they get absorbed into another app. You know, how Discovery and HBO got merged together in that whole deal. and Hulu's getting absorbed into Disney. So I mean, I think that inevitably happens either way. There's too many slices of the pie with all these different darn apps. So they're slowly getting, merged together here and there as we go down the line. But it's interesting, though, that Peacock is not getting completely out of the WWE game. And they're still, at least for right now, where they're locked in on Saturday night's main event. Who knows if they'll keep NXT or the archives. We mentioned last week rumors about what if they got like TNA, or one of these other partnership promotions that WWE's doing stuff with. And that Peacock becomes the home of AAA, NXT, and TNA, and the archives on there. Yeah. But your WWE mainline stuff is on ESPN. Now, here's another interesting aspect of this. I put in our group chat last night. That was a breaking story. Last night, after this deal was announced yesterday with the pay-per-views starting up on ESPN in September, the AEW section of the ESPN website disappeared.
Gone.
Poof. Gone. Can't say that I'm shocked, but damn, some people out there are surprised, and it's just like, there's games being played here. So let's throw this out here. We kind of touched on it last week, but now seeing how this is going with this ESPN move happening so quick and Peacock staying in the game, is the game that's going on here by WWE. We've talked about counter-programming. They're counter-programming AEW shows, and they're running against them. There's more than one way to counter-program stuff.
Yeah.
So, as we were talking about, there's a lot. It's complicated. So right now, you got to have USA Network for SmackDown in the US. You need Netflix for Raw. You need the CW for NXT.
Yep.
You're going to need the ESPN app for PLEs. You're going to need Peacock for Saturday night's main event. We're up to 5 right there. Hell, you need what's the one Evolve's on? Tubi. Tubi has Evolve, so we're up to 6. So what does that leave? You get through all that. We got HBO Max still out there, which has AEW. But all these other services now, they're blocked out on.
Yep.
WWE has YouTube, and they have a huge presence on YouTube. How they have the Speed Show on YouTube. I tell you, is the game going on here? It's starting to make more and more sense to me. Is the game that's being played with WWE? We are going to put content everywhere we can put it, with the idea that once you have us, why would you want something else? We're giving you content from us, so why would you want a secondary wrestling company when you can have WWE? We have a product for you. Something we can give you NXT, we can give you Saturday's main event, we can give you a sister company we work with. Why do you need anything else? We have a product we can put on your service. I'm starting to think that's the game being played here.
It's basically,
and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
No, you're right. It's almost like decimating the territories all over again. Where
there you go.
Tentacles are everywhere. Like you said, Will, like a good drug dealer, you're everywhere supplying product. You'll get customers. It's just about where you sell the product. And there's something, and I use this line, there is something for everyone in wrestling now. So why not WWE monopolize the space in a different way, aside from just buying out the opposition?
Yeah. But there's another thing I'm thinking about too, not even just WWE. Is there going to be another company, not wrestling company, just like a streamer that says, you guys have all these different things, but let's get the streaming thing that has a one-stop shop. Once again, going back to the cord is back, it's just not invisible. But let's say we have something like, and I'm just throwing Microsoft out there or Sony, and I know those video games, I'm just throwing company names. Microsoft says, okay, I'll give you the best of what YouTube TV has. I'll give you the best of what Hulu has, but I'll get everything. Like I'll have all WWE content. I have UFC. I have what Paramount has, but then we'll pay $120 a month and it's a one-stop shop. Will that kill everything because they have a little bit of everything? Would it be some type of deal to help with that? Just throwing it out there, but then how does that then throw what WWE is trying to do? Let's say if AEW gets on the back of that, said, I want to get on back of this streamer that's going to be getting a little bit for everybody.
Right.
Will that help or hurt the competition of what WWE is trying to do? Because I see what you're doing. Like you said, guys, taking the territories that are out there. You got streaming for this, you got streaming for this. We'll take a little bits and pieces of that pie. So that way when you get these things, you can always watch wrestling. You can always watch WWE content. But what if that one-stop shop comes off and let's say AEW says, we're going to go behind you.
Yeah.
And then all our premium live events go there.
the streaming version of cable.
Yes,
like
essentially,
you get to pick,
that's where we're
you get
at.
to pick 5 apps or something and get to have them all for like one price. Or
Sling
I don't
TV
know.
all over again.
yes,
Se-
yes.
Seriously. Oh my God. It's crazy when you look at it. How these apps have like just there's so many of them. They can't all survive. But it's interesting with I think AEW's deal is up at the end of 2026 or maybe 2027. One of those two. I mean,
There's
it's
an
not that
option
far
here,
off.
isn't there?
Yeah, there's an option here too. But what happens with them when their HBO Max deal is up? It's very interesting because I think WWE's playing the game of, well, you won't be able to get competing offers to drive up your price because we're boxing you out.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to look at a Netflix. You're not going to be able to look at an ESPN. We have all those locked in. Hey, Paramount needs a wrestling thing. Maybe Paramount be in play. Paramount got UFC. Well, no, Paramount got UFC.
UFC.
Now.
They got UFC now.
There
But
you go.
with Paramount, you don't
Paramount's
have to pay extra for their fights,
Right.
I don't think now.
No,
It's included.
Paramount's going to be
Yeah.
included. Is going to be included for the first time. UFC on Paramount. Yes. So no more pay-per-view model for UFC even these days. AEW is truly the last person doing pay-per-view at this point in 2025. But yeah, TKO I think is being very strategic with we're going to take all these options off the table, and then I mean, they might be looking at, okay, you got HBO Max, you got DAZN, you got like Sling or something. Sling started up a channel or the Roku channel or something like that. I don't know. I think it's a very calculated move, and I think people are just starting to realize it with this ESPN deal. So something to stay tuned to, folks. It's going to be interesting. We did not think this ESPN stuff would be happening so quick, but here we are. We're
Since
a month away.
ESPN's a Disney-owned property now, does that mean Becky Lynch is going to be a Disney princess?
Oh,
Hey,
I can see it. I can see it.
We're gonna
They
have
don't have
Roman
any-
Reigns and Kingdom Hearts.
You might watch. Well, Becky was already in a Netflix movie, so that was an easy transition for that
Right.
one. Hey, might as well put her on Disney too.
Oh, look at where
There
we're
you
going
go.
with this. Who knew 30 years ago when we were watching Nitro and Raw that this is where we would be?
Yep.
All
all
Disney
cool.
princesses recreated as wrestlers.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's change gears. Let's talk about the other show this weekend. Enough with the business talk and all the streaming services and all that. Let's get back to wrestling itself. We have one more show going on this weekend. After Forbidden Door, that night will be NXT Heatwave going on. I think that's coming from Lowell, Massachusetts. I think that famous round building. Yes, the Lowell Memorial Auditorium in Lowell, Massachusetts will be the home for Heatwave this weekend on Sunday, August 24th. So that should be going down after Forbidden Door, maybe wrapping up at the depending how long Forbidden Door lasts, might be some crossover there, but it will definitely be the show that evening. Let's take a look at this card. So we have right now 6 matches for Heatwave. We have, let's see, singles match. This is the one we've been waiting on, grudge match here. Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe. Tag match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Hank Walker and Tank Ledger defend their titles against Dark State. Who knows what combination they'll be of the Dark State crew, but 2 members of Dark State will be going for the NXT tag titles. A triple threat match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. JC Jane defending against Masha Slamovich and Ash by Elegance. Another triple threat match to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. Jada Parker versus Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. We have a mixed tag team match with Chelsea Green and Ethan Page taking on Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele. So Tyra May Steele's kind of first big match on a PLE here to see what happens with her.
LFG, let's go.
And there you go. And last but not least, singles match for the NXT Championship. Obafemi versus Javon Evans, rounding things out this Sunday in Lowell. This is an interesting show. I think for me, Jordan Blake is interesting to me because Blake has not clicked for me yet in NXT.
Same.
I kind of feel like we're getting to the point where sink or swim. Something's got to work. And if this ain't it, I'm kind of getting worried about her. But the triple threat for the TNA Knockouts Championship, that might be the one. JC, Masha, and Ash by Elegance. That's kind of got my attention there. But I don't know. Damian, I'll go to you first. We got a lot of women's matches on this show.
So you knew that's exactly where I was going to go. We have a smorgasbord of women's matches, but also styles of matches, right? Triple threats, mixed tag, grudge match. So we have a lot to choose from. And kudos again. And I'll be one of the first ones to say I was the cranky old man saying WWE should stop signing all these athletes, focus on wrestlers. And I'm so glad I was wrong to see all these athletes who have various athletic backgrounds who are now doing the damn thing. Let's just say that. I'm with you, Will, on Blake and Jordan because Blake's got to go over because this might be Jordan's swan song to go on to the main roster. We've been talking about that for months now.
Yeah.
But I said it on this show when they signed her. I said it's going to be important because she doesn't have Toni Storm to bounce off of promo-wise, in-ring wise.
Yeah. A lot of folks have been saying that.
Every other match she had that wasn't a Toni Storm match, well, I'm not going to say it was a wet fart, but close enough. So I'm really worried, Will. I share your sentiment that I'm worried if she doesn't deliver with someone who's as seasoned as Jordan is, darling, you're going to be in NXT a lot longer than you thought. If that's the case, you're going to have that JC Jane super senior moment where finally she's doing stuff. And kudos to her, by the way. When she beat Stephanie, all of us flipped the table over. But I'll tell you, she's won me over because she's the last person standing from Toxic Attraction. That's one. Two, she's shown that, hey, I'm a team player. I will put whatever role you want me to do, I'll do. And the fact that she's a double champion, I know Soul's won too, but we don't really count Speed. And she's still hated, but she's winning by the skin of her teeth like a good heel does, i.e. like The Miz used to way back in the day. I have an appreciation for JC Jane. And also, I'll just end it with the women's triple threat. It shows me who's next, right? Pardon the pun. But whoever wins that match is who's next up to say, look, I need someone to carry this women's division after JC or whomever leaves. So I'm interested to see, are they finally going to let Kalani go for the big belt? Are they finally going to listen to the crowd and give him Jada Parker? Or are we going to get a wild card and just have Lola Vice? So I'm amped for this more so than AEW. And yes, the bar's low. But I will say this, NXT for me has been the most interesting of all the brands this year for me. I tune in. I don't even go to my illegal streams. Well, I actually tune in to actual CW to watch NXT. So I'm looking forward to a great event. And Javon, I'm really hoping they finally bite the bullet and give Javon the title and just move over to the main roster.
Once again, Damon, me and you on the same page today because for once I can say now, like you, I am watching the CW on time. Like I look forward to Tuesdays where I can watch it. And I've always been a SmackDown guy. Like I can watch SmackDown and always had that on the background because I just enjoy Friday night wrestling. I just do. But the promotion or the show I look forward the most is NXT. And I really paid attention to that Javon Evans Trick Williams match that happened on Tuesday. I thought it was a good match. I was a little bit worried because I was like, it's 10 o'clock and they still going there. I was like, they got to cut this thing, and they cut it like really quickly when they went to the finish. But it has to be Javon Evans now, or you'll never be able to do it because he's teasing. He's the athlete. He's putting on good shows. You've seen him in good triple threat matches. You've seen him with good wrestlers or different type of wrestlers. The boy can go, but just let him see what he can do with the champion. If he can't carry it, take it off of him quickly. I can, but you got to see what he can do. And that's the same thing I feel about Miss Parker. Miss Parker is over. And this is a time that if you think about what could be coming up, because right now, before you know it, it's going to be WrestleMania season again because we're coming around that Royal Rumble. You got to get some of these other veterans of NXT out there to see what they can do on the main roster. What are you going to do with Obafemi? Can Obafemi be a surprise entrant at the Rumble? And that way you can see it can transcend it. You already said about what Jordan Grace is going to be, but can Blake Monroe do what she needs to do on her own on NXT? And I've always been a JC Jane fan, but when she came across or broke off from Toxic Attraction, like that's when she had that moment when she turned heel. But at the same time, she kind of fell off a little bit and didn't get a chance to have that moment. But then she slowly got back up to it. So I think Heatwave is going to be a low-key great event to see where you're going to transcend to those next level of people that you're going to push up. But I'm just hoping WWE/NXT or even Shawn Michaels are not going to be afraid to pull the trigger just to see what may happen. But I would really love to see Javon Evans come out as champion today on that day.
I think I'm with you on Javon. And Lord knows after the fall he took on Tuesday, where he almost went over that damn table and missed it entirely. I was like, boy, what are you doing? He was excited to be in Philadelphia and up on that stage in that opera house. They had quite the unique setup on Tuesday with the stage, with the ring on it and everything, and the different look for the show. But yeah, Javon, I'm with you. It's time to see if it works or not. And if it doesn't, then you can do something else. Obafemi, I think, had a strong enough run as champ where it's not going to hurt him at all now, and he's ready to move on. That triple threat with Jada, Kalani, and Lola, that's really interesting to me because I'm looking at that and say, okay, they got Kalani as North American Women's Champion before. The other two haven't had belts. Lola clearly has found a home on these AAA shows. So I think she kind of has her niche where they're going to probably market her more to these AAA shows and all that. She's over as hell there. So that makes a ton of sense. So I'm really thinking, I think it's between Kalani and Jada. And like you said, Jada is over with that crowd. Folks are behind her.
Miss Parker.
It might. I'm kind of thinking you go with Jada. Let's see what happens with Jada because you've done Kalani, but all three of those women are going to be fine. They each have their own niche going on there.
Correct.
And then JC and Masha and Ashby Elliott. I'm kind of curious to see old Ashby Elliott here because it's like the return to NXT from years ago, and to see how she's grown and everything compared to before. I don't think you need to pull the trigger just yet on getting the title back on Masha.
No,
I don't know. I think you can keep this rolling a little bit longer with JC, especially since they're doing all these teases with Fatal Influence and where they all stand together. So I think there's kind of stay the course right there. But other than that, like we said, Blake Monroe. This is a big weekend for her. We need a spark. We need something.
Put up a shut up.
Yeah. And much like we were talking about with a certain someone that was about a week or so ago. Someone we were talking all this stuff about, they were going to be getting all this attention and people were going to be hitting the indies for them. And that seems to fizzle out already. And it's a week later. So the tides turn very quickly. Karrion Kross. So anyway, I'll just throw it out there because
funny how we haven't heard a peep about that from the IWC now.
No, that fizzled out fast.
Silence.
Fizzled out fast. Just saying. So, all right, folks, there you go. Heatwave this weekend. Forbidden Door. Lots of shows that we'll be talking about next week, and next week we'll be on the road to Clash of Paris. So, anything else y'all want to work in before we wrap this up? I figure we're kind of by the time we wrap it up, we'll be at our hour.
Yeah, we probably.
You're both good?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So I said in our group chat, I was at literally a Mexican themed bar watching AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And when I tell you the entire bar wanted Dominic Mysterio to win this title, he's not only over in the arena, he's over, and I'm in Texas, so there's a very heavy Mexican community who loves Lucha Libre. They all wanted Dominic, bro. I couldn't even fathom in the year of our Lord 2025 that Dominic Mysterio, aka or Guerrero, depending on who you ask, is the most over person, and Grande Americano 2.0 allegedly.
Yes.
I love the show. When you actually, Will, you reminded me because I almost forgot about it, and then when I ran to the bar, they already had it on.
Yeah.
And I even said, "Worlds Collide." That's going to be an interesting show too, but I'm already liking so far the AAA WWE integration. Dare I say it's been a better Forbidden Door than Forbidden Door has been in its first couple of times out. The only thing I won't like from the show is if they bring back Del Rio. I know the crowd wants him back for whatever reason. Ray made a comment in his promo about, I'll bring him back. No, the hell you will not. Now the WWE owned it, AAA. But it was an enjoyable experience. It was fun. because remember, we have fun here in wrestling.
That's right.
And just AJ Styles, the pettiness to just go and just Styles clash. And I love, okay, I'll say this about El Grande Americano, allegedly 2.0. He reminded me of every drunk Latino dude that thinks they can sing when he was coming down the aisle. They think they got chops and they don't. And if it's Kaiser, because it might be Omos, we don't know. I'm so glad he's the person that took over this role, because he took it to a level not even Chad Gable probably could have brought to it. So kudos on two people who I didn't expect to be over in Mexico are over in Mexico.
100%.
Go for it.
100%.
There you go. Those, like you were saying, those, I think it's the key. Is this is only the second show we've had of the AAA WWE, conglomerate. So it's something new. It's something unique at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
A couple months from now, we might not be saying the same thing, but for right now, it's new. And that's what we're looking for. New and fresh is what gets people's attention. So, all right, let's wrap this thing up for this week. Folks, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, your Big Old Belt Wrestling Podcast is streaming live right here. We are on X. We are on Twitch. We are over on YouTube, live streaming on all those platforms as we go. The video feed lives on after the fact. So if you joined us late tonight, like Mr. Universal, I see here in the chat, you can check us out on the YouTube. The feed lives on there. Also, the audio version lives on there. So we got you covered. Audio and video can both be found on YouTube as we do the thing. They're always found there. Let's see. On social media, let's go across the board here. At Big Gold Belt is where you can find us on social media, whether we're talking Instagram, X, Blue Sky, all that good stuff. That's where you can find us on social media at Big Gold Belt. And, of course, on the web, BigGoldBelt.com, the home of Big Gold Belt media, wrestling, movies, comics, and more. Who's got something for me this weekend? No, I know there's a lot of Forbidden Door this weekend. I know there's a lot of NXT. What else we got going on? Damien, you got something for me?
And 2 Chainz is going to yell at me about this because he knows I'm a punk ass when it comes to scary movies or thrillers. And stuff. Weapons. If you haven't seen it,
we talked about it last week.
If you haven't seen it, go watch Weapons. And yes, 2 Chainz, I did watch it with one eye kind of closed at some parts.
But you made it through. You made it through.
As a person in psychology, I loved that movie. I didn't know what to expect. Nice. I went in blind and I loved it. Please go see it if you like your thrillers to be off the wall.
With the boss.
See, exactly, lies. Bro,
I still haven't gone and seen it yet. I
haven't either.
Weapons is still getting the recommendation at this point. So there you go, folks. That's your pick from Big Gold Belt Media this week. Wrestling, movies, comics, and more. And last but not least, Mr. Universal, MJF versus Hangman is and will be the highlight of the show. We will see next week, folks. We will talk about Forbidden Door next week. We'll see if Universal is right with MJF and Hangman possibly stealing the show for the title match. Could happen. Maybe. I know we got cage matches. We got lots of wrestling going on this weekend. We'll see about all that. So until next time, folks, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all that good stuff. Set your notifications and all that. We'll see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be on the road to Clash in Paris. We'll talk about all the wrestling going on over the weekend. So until then, stay safe, and we'll talk to you later.
All I really need